Hello everyone and welcome to another session of the NEC of 5-second Portugal for this semester. And today we're going to be talking about the customer flow for our of our customers. So first things first is get to know your FASI. With this is me, Amin, your MCVP ICLX delivering this session for you. And when we talk about the objectives, the main objective for this session is for you to understand what is the customer flow and why we actually do it in ISAC and for our customers. So when we talk about customers, we're talking as ISACers, we have two kind of customers. So we have the youth, who are the young people that are aged from 18 to 30 maximum, and these are the youth that we are asked to work with, and we have conditions to work with these age limits. And also the partners. So we're talking about opportunity providers, we're talking about sponsors, we're talking about different types of partners that we can have. Either they are from non-governmental regions, governmental regions, startups, companies, any kind of customers, any kind of party that we can partner with. And we're talking about the customer flow, which is the circle that you see in front of you now. And it's divided, like we have the customer flow for youth and we have the customer flow for partners. And they may look the same actually, but the steps and what needs to be done in both of them is very different from each other. So let's dig in a little bit into the customer flow for youth. And there is actually another phase that is before the attraction, which is called pre-attraction. And in that phase, we work on analyzing and building our IR partnerships, so international relation partnerships. So and educating these IR partners about our EPs profiles, about our projects, about the kind of experiences that we need to deliver, etc. So we try to educate them as much as possible for what needs to be done. And also we work on fixing our timeline for the semester and make sure we align with our IR partners in terms of timeline and supply and demand. So we make sure that we fix our timeline for the semester, so we know in which phase we'll be doing the attraction, in which phase we're going to be doing the consideration, which phase is going to be preparation, experience, post experience, etc. And to align with our IR partners, since they will be the one that will send us, or we will be sending that, they will be like the other side where we're going to be working with the EPs. So we need them to understand and we need them to be aware of our timeline, and we need to be aligned together in it, and to make sure that we are aligned in terms of supply and demand, so they have like the right profiles for our projects. And then we dig a little bit deeper, so we go into the customer flow for youth specifically. So we're talking about the attraction. So in the attraction, the EP goes from the phase of open to applied, and then he goes into the circle. So it goes into the phase of consideration, where the EP moves from the phase of applied to accepted, and from the phase of accepted to approved. And then the EP moves to the phase of preparation, where the EP moves from the state of approved to realized, and from then to the phase of experience, when you talk from realized to finished, and then the post experience, which is from finished to complete. And after the EP finishes the experience, so he's from complete, he gets back to being open, so he gets back to being applicant once again. And these phases are very detailed, and I need to advise you that you memorize these phases because you will need them in your whole ISAC experience as part of the exchange department. So we're talking about the customer flow. So you can see that the customer flow has only one side, one way to go. It's from attraction to consideration to preparation to experience to post experience, and then from post experience we go back to attraction and to the open state. So in any case, so the EP applied. When what does it mean the EP applied? So that the EP saw one of our projects, and decided to apply for it. So they filled the application. And then the EP moves to the consideration phase, where there is like a selection process for the EP. It really depends on the EP itself, and it depends on the NGO or the opportunity provider that you're working with. Either it's an NGO, is it a company? So it depends if they want they have like specific selection process, and also it depends on each LC. Like some LCs or some entities, they require different processes. So for ISAC in Portugal, our process for selection is that we send the EP form, and that form he needs to fill, and we ask them to fill to prepare a video, and in that video they have like questions to answer. And also then for IGTA short term, we ask the EP to have an interview with ISAC, and for IGTA long term the EP makes an interview with the company, and for IGV there is no interview for the moment. So if the EP gets accepted, then we move to the next phase, which is to make the EP from accepted to approved. And in this phase, the EP pays money for the home entity, which is the entity that is his original entity. He pays them the money fee, the contract fees, in which they will make the process to make his approval. In case the EP is rejected and did it get accepted, so in case it's rejected, so he immediately goes back to the state 2 of so he gets back, to attraction phase, and we need to attract the EP one more time. In case the EP gets approved, so the EP moves forward to the phase of preparation, and it's the phase where we prepare the EP for the experience that he will be having with us. So it's the phase where the EP moves from the state of approved to realized. So realized means that the EP is currently started the experience. In case the EP didn't get to be realized, so what state will be break approval. And if the EP is got break approval, it goes immediately to go back to the attraction phase also. And if the EP is not break approved, so the EP is gonna be realized, so the EP started his experience, and we will be moving on to the next phase, which is the experience part, which is the longest period in the whole flow overall. In this phase, so the EP is realized, so the EP starts the experience, and either the EP finish the experience, so it goes to the next T2, which is finished, or the EP does break realization, so it means that the EP didn't finish his experience. So supposedly the experience has a specific duration, but the EP didn't finish that whole duration and had to finish it early. So the EP goes back immediately to the open state 2 and to attraction phase. And in case the EP finished the experience, so it goes to the next phase, which is post-experience. And we're talking about the phase from finish to complete. And when you say complete, is that the EP had like confirmed that he received all of the 16 minimum 14 of the 16 standards, because we have like ones that are mandatory and 4 that are not non-mandatory, and we need at least 2 standards from the non-mandatory to have a complete experience. So once the EP gave us a validation that he received all minimum of 14 standard, and that the EP is ready to finish the experience once and for all, and that the EP is ready for his next steps. So the EP changes the state from finish to complete, and then from complete to open, and the experience is officially over, and the EP gets back to be stranger, so he needs to apply in one more time. To talk more details about our role, so we're talking about attraction. What is requested for us as ICX to do? The attraction phase is all about creating attraction materials. So we're talking about different types. We're talking about collecting testimonials from previous EPs. We're talking about showcasing materials, and we're talking about using IR groups to send the attraction materials. So we need to show our IR partners why they should promote our LC and our entity, and why they should convince their EPs to come to us. Then we move to the phase of consideration. So it's the phase of selection of the EP. So the EP we must approach the EP and the EP manager in maximum 24 hours after applying, and also we need to send an email for the EP to make the video and fill the form. Then the EP needs to send the video in maximum 48 hours after receiving the email, and then we assess the EP and we decide either to accept or reject, and that needs to happen in maximum 24 hours. And if accepted, so we send an email to the EP to fill the acceptance note and give them instructions about the next steps that needs to be done in the flow. Then we move to the preparation phase. So we're talking about there are like specific standards for the preparation phase. Some of them are to send invitation letters. So we support the EP in the visa process. So whatever the EP needs of documents, we need to provide them. We need to support in providing them. And the minimum is to provide an invitation letter with all the details. Also, to prepare and communicate accommodation of the EP in maximum 10 days before realization date. So we need to provide details and information for the EP about their accommodation, how will it be, in maximum 10 days before the arrival of the EP. Align with sending entity the OPS delivery. So the OPS is the outcome preparation of seminar, and we need to make sure that the EP is receiving it in the right way. That's something to align with IR partners. And use mailing system to help EP stay engaged. We need to make an expectation setting call. We need to make a call with the EP to set expectations about the experience, how will it be, about the lifestyle of Portugal, how it is, about the money, about the life costs, etc. Collect flight tickets. So you need to make sure that you collect the flight tickets of your EPs. You need to collect proof for every communication you make with the EP. And also we need to make arrival pickup alignment that needs to happen maximum 7 days before the realization date. So you need to make sure that your EP has correct informations and detailed ones about the arrival pickup, how will it be, and it's not mandatory for you to go to send someone to do the pickup from the airport, as much as it is mandatory that you send the details for the EP to know how to get from the airport to the accommodation. Then we move forward to the phase of the experience. So we're talking about the implementation of these 16 standards. So we have almost 8 standards for the experience part, and you need to fulfill all of them, so you need to be implemented. And also it's all about collecting proofs for the delivery of each standard. And also talking about that every realization must have specific agenda, and that agenda needs to have like all kind of activities that can be included. So we're talking about social and initiative, social activities. We're talking about ISAC activities, and also their work time overall. Also, every EP must have an EP body, and make sure that from the team, every EP needs to have an EP body, and also every EP needs to receive a weekly one-to-one with the EP body to review the experience and how is it going. Then we're talking about the post experience, which is the last part. So we need this in this part. It's actually not much of our responsibility because the EP already like finished the experience and went back home. So the EP is in direct communication with the home entity, and at this point, you need just to stay in touch with the EP and the EP manager. You need to make sure EP understands the debrief standard and its importance. So there's like the last standard that the EP will need to fulfill by when they get back home. And you need to make sure that the EP understand that standard and its importance, because if the EP don't do that standard, they will never be complete. And you need to set the deadline with both the EP and the EP manager to make the debrief space, and also you need to follow up with the EP and the EP manager on the debrief space and make sure that the EP receive the certificate of experience by the end of the experience. And yes, this is it for the customer flow for the youth. And talking about the customer flow for partners, so in the pre-attraction, it's all about evaluation of the market. We make market research, we make market analysis, we make market segmentation, all of that. So we try to get the right overview of the market and what kind of project that we need to work on, and what the market needs to how we need to approach the market, etc. And how it goes is that mainly, so the attraction part is that starts from a visitor to making the first call, the first touch point, and then we go to consideration, where we make like the visit, we make the first meeting, and it depends on how many meetings that needs to be done. And then we go from visit to open, then from open to accepted, and from accepted to approved. And this like depends on the EP state too. So once we get an approved for the EP, it's either we get the approved to be realized, or either we make like the break approval and the EP gets back to be open, and also the project gets back to being open. And then we move on to the experience part, which is realize to finish, and then post experience finish to complete. And then we make the follow up with the company to know what needs to be done. And talking more details, so in the attraction phase, we do the phone call. So we consider a call is done when the other side picks up the phone. So it means that it's only considered an approach. It only considered that you made a call when the other part picks up the phone and there's like communication happen between both of you. The meeting must be booked in maximum 3 days after making the call. So once you make the call, you need to make sure that you book for a meeting or like any kind of gather with the partner that you're trying to reach in maximum 3 days after making the call. For the consideration phase, so the opportunity contract must be uploaded on Podio. That's something you need to know, and make sure the partner understand everything related to the contract and the IPP, so ISEC exchange program policy. So they need to understand the rights and duties. As for the preparation, so we need to align with partner the accommodation part, align the agenda of work, and as for the experience, we need to have like weekly review meeting with the partner, and also we need to track the standards delivery of the partners because we have exchange standards for the youth and we also have standards for the partners. As for the post experience, so the main thing to do is a final follow-up meeting. So we need to do like a final meeting to review the whole experience, how was it, etc., and look to upscale for more opens. So look to upscale this partnership to have more opens and more work. And yes, the main question to ask is that why we do all of this, because this is our CRM, and we need to make sure that our customers never leave it. That's why it's a circle actually, because it needs to keep rolling, it needs to keep going, and it must never end. So any kind of customer that goes inside that circle needs to always be inside of it. And how is that? Is that we make sure everyone is satisfied with our services. That's why we make a lot of follow-ups, we make a lot of meetings, we make a lot of evaluations. So it's a circle that any kind of customer that goes inside of it must continue living inside of it and must continue being happy and satisfied with working with us because of the being part of that circle. And yes, that was it for me. I hope this was fruitful for you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to approach me.